Look at this beautiful mama. I do want to remind everybody that we raise hair sheep, so there's nothing wrong with them right now. They're just shedding their winter coat and getting ready for spring and summer. Good morning, everybody. We're moving this flock today. This week, weather-wise, has been quite interesting. We had a lot of rain. We went from 70 degrees to, it says it's up to about 50 right now, but it's windy and a little bit chilly, so definitely feels like it's in the 40s. The girls have done a really good job in this paddock, so we're going to bump them up. Now we're at the point, because spring is springing, that the girls will move at a faster pace, and we'll be grazing that top third off to keep vegetation in check, but also to keep the animals healthy. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're going to move this flock. We're going to check the others. It should be a pretty good day.
Hey everyone, we're out here on one of the solar sites. We're getting ready to gather sheep at this paddock and move to a new block. Just wanted to show some of the residual vegetation that we leave. You know, the whole goal here is to slow water down and prevent erosion and not take it down all the way to the ground. I mean, there's a lot of people talk about intensive grazing, so here's a little bit of bare ground here, but you can see where the sheep have nipped off the grass where it's squared off. But a lot of people want to graze intensively all the way down to the ground. You know, there's still some litter in here. See, and the issue with that is if you take it all, you won't get pasture recovery as fast. You go, oh, that's great. That means I don't have to treat it as often, or I don't have to mow. Well, the issue with that is, you know, we're in the spring flush right now. The problem with taking it all the way down to the ground is you may not get recovery if it stops raining. So you're going to have, you know, you're going to potentially damage the planting and decrease the root stores of the plants because they're putting more energy into trying to grow. So you leave a little bit, it'll actually help with root growth and adding more exudates into the soil and improving soil health, pasture condition over time. You know, there's some interesting things coming up. You know, they just nip it, a portion of it, and then go on. But you know, there's clover in here, fescue, a little bit of bluegrass. You can see Trip up there. He just shows you, you know, he's not laying in bare ground. There's quite a bit of grass up on his shoulders and things. So yeah, we're just, this paddock is fairly small on this farm, and so the animals hammered it. Really wanted to move them a couple days ago, but you know, weather happened and stuff. So with other work we were doing, we didn't get over here. But this is kind of what we want to leave. You know, 6 or 8 inches of residual vegetation. Yeah, just so it'll, you know, this clover will end up blooming by the time we get back here. But yeah, just throw my hard hat under there so you see, you know, it's not taken down to the ground, but the sheep, if they're going to keep it vegetative, there's no seed heads coming on yet. Yeah, there's just, you want to leave residual, leave some litter just to shield the soil, provide a place for insects to live and things like that. But yeah, like I said, we can show you some video as we gather the sheep. But yeah, the whole thing is sheep can do this job, especially if you manage them correctly. And as the site matures, it's just going to get better for sheep over time as you manage it for them. Here. Look here. Away. Here, Trip. Look back. Away. There. Lie down. Trip. Lie down. Thank you. Just want to get them started. So there's some weeping love grass in here. Bank stabilization is not ideal for us because the sheep don't like it. It's not native grass. That'll do here. Let's just try to keep the sheep moving. Gathered up together. Here's a pretty good example of these ones. Yeah. You can see where the sheep squared off the tips. This will recover nicely now that we've fertilized it. Some more sheep up here. There, lie down. Trip, lie down. Down. Little stinker. So pretty even graze on this. Trip, here. Lie down. Lie down. Okay, here. Even with Jess and keep pushing the sheep up. Newer babies. Dribble crosses. Ooh, good job. She's got some babies in there too. She's trying to hide. Go check it out. There, lie down. Stick right there. Lie down. Start to shed. Went from 88 degrees to 32. So. Look back. Look back. Come by. There, lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Go with your mom. There you go. And then she found her other one, so that's good. It's just a new lamb. I know, you're good, Mom. Lie down, quick. Sometimes dogs are a little too much pressure when they're new, so they'll move away from us, they'll turn around and want to fight the dog, even though they won't do anything to the dog. Everybody's finding something good to eat on the road. Come on. Yep, that's your baby. Take it. Let's go. Come on. Come on. I don't mean everybody running back trying to find their lamb in old paddock. It's annoying. Come on. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. Here we go. We're moving. Here we go. Still moving. No, your lamb is running with the group. Turn around. Thank you. Probably check out the new grass. Gosh. Good girl. Go on. Go on. Everybody's crossing the bridge. Oh, the road. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Lammy's finding something to eat. Come on. Strung out. Come on.
I do want to remind everybody that we raise hair sheep, so there's nothing wrong with them right now. They're just shedding their winter coat and getting ready for spring and summer.
It doesn't look like over 300 head until they get to lie down. Right out grazing. Lie down. Tired Liam. Liam made it finally. Mom's happy. Pasture's recovered since last time we were in here. The grass tips are pointy. See that point on them? The manure's dissolved. We're giving it quite a bit of rain. Trip, lie down. It's a good thing to get them in here though, because the seed heads are just, if you can see that or not, the seed heads are just starting. We call it the boot stage. They're in a little envelope. They're getting ready to pop out. So it's a good thing, nutritionally good for the sheep, good timing, but also keeps the seed heads from popping up and getting into the equipment. A little bit of view of what the sheep are going into. Sorry, I'll try to show this if I can get it the right distance from my hand. It's in a little sleeve and it's starting to come out. They call it the boot stage. So we definitely want to get the animals out here and clip it before it throws the seed head up. We had some 88-degree days. Like I said it was 32 last night, so that probably slowed the grass down a little. But we're just trying to give it adequate rest so that we can come back and get good animal performance. It's pretty good grass. Late clover in here. Most animals are on that side. A little shorter there. They'll get around and get it.
So this paddock has actually rested about 6 weeks, I think. So I'm pretty happy with that, and pathogen wise and everything. They'll come through and they'll clip the top third here. They'll be here for about a week. And then we'll move them to the furthest block in this paddock, and we actually found a way to do that. So we're pretty happy because we thought we were gonna have to trailer them. But the good news is, working with the site manager and stuff, he said, oh no, we can, basically there's a, like the power line runs through between them, and it's cleared pretty nicely. So we're gonna try our hand at just running the sheep up through the power line and into the next block instead of trailering and having to drive all the way around. It's one of the things that I always say all the time is it's like, we try to bring those things to the table earlier so people see it. Like if there's easy access to paddocks, it's not just for the sheep grazers or the mowing teams, it's for the people who are O&M, who are managing the site on the daily. The accessibility between paddocks, the distance between I mean, it just all adds up and it makes sense. So it's one of the things that we always try to talk about is, hey, yeah, it makes sense for moving my sheep, but also think about your people that are going to be on your site managing it all the time. You know, sometimes it makes more sense to have gates kind of closer together, face each other, so you can get from one paddock to the other instead of having to come all the way around. Like here, if we didn't go through the power line, we'd have to go out to the main road. So we'd have to, I think it's a 2-mile drive around, times however many loads, times however many distance. I mean, it's just, it would take, as you've seen today, even though it's fast forward and whatnot, what took us about an hour to gather and drive would take us 4 hours just to trailer. So, and there's less stress on the animals, which I know I harp on all the time, but it's less stress for the animals just to take a walk than it is to be corralled, loaded, unloaded, corralled, loaded, unloaded. Did I leave my lamb behind? Did my lamb go ahead of me? You know, did we get the right groups with the right, you know, they always find each other because we try not to go take too long, but you know, it's all these little factors that make a big difference. So when people think, oh, you just don't want to do a lot of work, it's like, no, I want to make sure that my animals are healthy and safe, and the least I can stress them out, the better, especially because we're in our second wave of lambing. So as you saw, we had to push some of those lambs up, but like that makes a big difference if I can just say, okay, Mama, you're gonna walk with your lambs, versus, okay, now you've got to be in the corral and you're gonna be towards the end because I want the babies to have a lot of room, and you know, dealing with all of that. It just makes it much easier for us to be able to go, okay, let's just take a walk. One of the other questions that we get asked a lot is like, do you have enrichment activities or like back scratchers or things like that? And no, we don't. We've found over the years our dog feeders, actually, the sheep really like to rub on those. And so we encourage that, because if they're rubbing on this, it means they're not rubbing on anything else. So every now and again, I'll just come over and, you know, pull our wool, or not wool because we don't have it, our hair, excuse me, off of there. And the cool thing about nature, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but birds will come and take this stuff for their nests, and it gets reused, it gets recycled back in. What doesn't get taken gets taken up by the soil and helps with the soil, which is really nice, and we like that idea. So just gonna do some of that. This kind of go down, probably clear off the other side, and then I guess first we'll let them off. Hey boopers. Hold on. They're very fluffy, so I can get into all this fluff. So hard to get into all this fluff. If anybody else has this problem, go ahead. And the last one. There you go, almost done. I'm not left-handed, folks. I am not left-handed. There we go. Go ahead, Mira. Go ahead, Mira. Good girl. Good girls. I know that their feeder's full, A, because I just checked, but also because I filled them yesterday. So she goes under and into her feeder. Good girl. And it's a two-sided, so she can eat on this side and she can eat on that side. And there's no fighting or worry or concern, because they can enter and eat both sides at the same time. So, good girl. Okay, so you get asked all the time, does grazing really work, or is it just greenwashing, or you fill in the blank with, I'm sure you've heard crazy things too. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to try to get this angle. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it, but I want to show you what outside of the fence looks like and what inside of the fence looks like. It was seeded the same time of year, all of that kind of stuff. So it's not a, oh, this was later, that was earlier, whatever. This side we grazed, this side we didn't. And look, if we weren't grazing, how tall it could potentially be inside. All right, so I'm gonna turn this around, and I'm gonna try to get the best angle of this just to show you, yes, grazing does work, management of the soil does work, rotationally taking care of things, chopping off the top third and moving along is healthier for everything. It's better than, you know, the pitch perfect mow mentality. So inside, outside. Inside, outside, and you can just see if we weren't grazing how tall it would be already. Inside, outside. Now, I guess the thing I do want to say though is that it never is a perfect finish, nor should it be. So we're gonna have bits that are maybe a little bit higher, but overall it's pretty good. And like Marcus said already, we left them in here a couple days longer than we wanted to. Had some storms and stuff that pushed everything back, but all in all, I'm pretty pleased with leaving this paddock and moving to the next one. I think we're doing pretty good.
Come on! Away! You went the wrong way. Kit here, Kit here, Kit here, Kit here. Come on, burn some energy. She's our catch dog and our close pin working dogs. Here, Kit. Come by. Shh. Shh. We'll sweep, see if they find any other sheep. Most of the time they don't find anything, but sometimes catch some stragglers. But this is good for. Let's see, we got some rain. We got more coming. Yeah, just trying to burn some energy off the collies. Like, we've got a couple projects that are coming on yet, but we invested in some trained dogs before when we get people set up. They kind of, some of them listen to everybody. Some are one person dogs, but yeah, we're just trying to get it lined out so everybody's got the tools they need at each ranch to be successful without, you know, like me or Jess having to be there every time sheep are moved, because they're moved, you know, during the wintertime, like once a week or two, depending on the size of the paddock and the flock. During the spring, or you know, during like spring flush right now, sometimes they're moving twice a week, you know, every 3 days. So it's just a lot. Oh, we do need to get these mineral tubs too. Use those crystallized tubs. Away! But anyway, just helps to take the edge off. You work, so you're not the pen up. These dogs are high octane. Like I said, Kit is really good in close proximity, or like you have an injured sheep or sick sheep you need to catch. Say there's like a stuck lamb hanging out or something, you have her go catch it. She'll grab it and lay down and not hurt it. So you can get there and treat it or take it home, wherever you need to do. And then Kimber works kind of fast. She's a high octane dog. She, you know, it's kind of like a sports car. And then Colt, he's actually a National Reserve Champion cattle dog. Some of these other dogs have been in trials too, and they're no slouches. So, but anyway, Colt was a national, basically runner-up for cattle a couple of years ago. 23, I think it was. Logan Henry was running him. You can look him up. His dad, David Henry, runs Fieldstone stock dogs. That's Colt there. Looks kind of like Lassie. He's got a little longer hair, but or Sheltie or something. But he's a border collie, and yeah, he's like a Cadillac, you know. So Kimber's like a sports car. He's like a Cadillac, and Trip's like my Swiss Army knife. Like we've had him long enough, and he listens to me well enough that if there's some situation, you know, unexpected situation, Trip can figure it out or help me make it. And that's just come from working together. And the other dogs will get that way too. But Colt listens to Jess. Kimber listens to me. Kit listens to multiple people. But Colt and Kimber both can be worked by basically anybody, but they just prefer, you know, Colt prefers Jess, that sort of thing. But some of these dogs, like Trip, you can ask other people we work with. Like, it's like, one of those anti-theft devices. Like, I don't recognize your voice. So like, he doesn't work for anybody else the majority of the time, and it gets him in trouble sometimes too. Like if I have to leave or go away from the corral or something, he'll start doing what he wants, and everybody's trying to get him to stop and he won't. So it's a blessing and a curse. Yeah. So, and Dot's at home. She's coming out of heat. So you know, Dot's got some of the best bloodlines out of Europe. She's a really good dog for like, if sheep got out, we don't know where they are. You know, go ahead and cast her out. She'll just bring them to you. Trip does a little bit of I'm going to form a one dog corral around the sheep until you can get there, or hold stock in a corner or something in case you need to get there. Bark, that sort of thing. But most of the time they're silent. The Kit here, yeah, Kit's a good girl, aren't you, Kit? She seems like a couch potato, but she'll get out as needed. She loves to drive sheep. She'll actually walk them from behind. Dot does that too. Like if you're walking ahead of the flock, they'll just bring the sheep behind you, which is really nice. Trip likes to drive. Pretty sure Cole can do everything if you get him lined out and understanding what you want him to do. But yeah, so we've got five trained border collies. You know, shaking a bucket only gets you so far. Especially the sheep are new to you. Like our original flock we used, we could call and they all come running. You know, come on, girls, they come running. But you know, you had one injured or you know, lambing or stuck in something, or you never know. And yeah, so you just need to be able to have the dogs to gather them. You know, some flocks, if they're not closely related, don't flock up so well, so they form little subgroups, or rams will make harems, and you just leave sheep behind if you don't watch what you're doing. So anyway, calling them and shaking a bucket only gets you so far. You'll get a lot of the sheep, but you may not get them all. So like 100 sheep, you might leave 20, that sort of a thing. So yeah, we've got the dog power to be able to move animals, gather animals, pen animals, get them on a trailer, shuttle them around. And this is just a tool that, you know, solar shepherds need. You know, it's a time-tested, you know, hundreds of years tool that works. And yeah, we don't, you know, they're smart, so it can cause you some aggravation sometimes, but it would be really difficult without these dogs, especially at scale. Like, you know, somebody leaves a gate open, the sheep are down a draw, spread out on a solar farm. Like, you're not going to run around. Look, sheep know we're not agile, and even when I was thin and athletic, I can't outrun a sheep, and they know you can't outrun them. You know, you basically, to them, you're on your heels all the time, so they can make you look school you. And yeah, they can't outrun these dogs. I think they can sometimes. Hey, Kit, away. Shh. She's like, there's no sheep in here. Hunting dogs do this too. They go, yeah, there's no prey, no game. They know if they're sheep or not. Come by. Make them go look. Are you forcing me to run? Yeah, so I really appreciate, you know, Fieldstone stock dogs. Helping us get most of these dogs. And some of them were kind of being in the right place at the right time, like someone had passed away unfortunately, and their spouse was wanting to rehome the dog, and or someone's wanting to trade, you know, get a different dog to work or something. So like we've been the beneficiary of kind of people moving dogs and stuff like that, trying to rehome them. But they're young. I mean, there's, you know, 4 or 5 years old. They're not 10-year-old dogs. So they've got a lot of work left in them. Here comes Trip. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Thank you. That's on you, Mom. It's like he knows he's on camera. He's trying to get away with stuff. Oh, way. So we'll just burn the edge off. Take the edge off. But we do try to rotate the dogs, you know, working, doing different tasks, working the cows at home, working the sheep on solar. You know, we'll gather with one, drive with another, pen with another, and rotate like that. Like I said, we've got more projects coming on. We need the dog power to do the thing. Lie down. Kimber, lie down. Kimber, lie down. See, this is why you gotta burn the energy off, so you listen. Here. Good girl. I don't think there's any other sheep. I don't think there's any sheep. No, I don't think there's any. I think we got them all. Kimber, no. All right, that'll do. Here. Colt, here. Everybody loves dogs, right? got a lot of them. Trip, you rolled in something. That's not cool. You're riding outside in the truck. Here. Colt, here. That'll do. Load up. Load up.
All right, so we just put out 600 pounds of food. Do our sheep math for us.
Yeah, so there's about 185 adult ewes here, but they're nursing, and there's some lambs that are starting to eat feed. They're starting to wean, and so there's about over 300 head here. I think there was 135 lambs last time we moved them. So, just off the top of your head, it's like each one's supposed to get a pound to a pound and a half of pellets per day if you're going to supplement. This paddock is fairly small, and we're trying to slow ourselves down to give grass time to recover in the paddocks that we're moving to. And so, you're looking at that 600 pounds is about, not quite two, check my math, but it's about 2 days worth of feed. We've got some rain coming, and the rumens are full. They've been grazing. But it's just a supplement because they're nursing, and we're trying to slow ourselves down, spend more time in this pasture. Ideal world, like, would you pour it on the ground? No, but it's dry at the moment. We're between rains, and it's windy and sunny, and so the ground is dry. We pour it on the gravel, so it's easier for them to find, and it's not getting dirty. The paddock's not really soiled yet. Just trying to give the animals a little bit of supplement.
Why not hay right now?
Well, we can feed hay. It's just they want to graze, right? And so they want to chase the green pick, they call it. And so the pellets are kind of a treat for them, and they get excited about eating it. Like, we get a feeding frenzy, but they're not really hungry. They just get excited about the idea and the prospect of being fed. So, like, we don't do this a lot, but just to trying to stretch out our pasture, and like, we can give some high quality hay, which is actually what we did when we first got in here, like some orchard grass or something that's more palatable. But this time of year, it's hard to find round bales that are still in decent condition, that aren't too stemmy, that they would just lay on anyway. So like I said, it's not meant to be their full ration. It's just a supplement. We're still providing mineral, we're still providing water. And there's still some brown in this paddock, so they're basically eating hay that's growing on the ground, from last year, stockpile. But it's just, we're just trying to slow ourselves down so we can give the paddocks that we're going to a little more rest, and because we're going to graze that side pretty quick, and then make sure we've adequate rest and recovery to the paddocks on the other side, the far west side of the farm.
So now it's early April-ish. We're not quite to mid-April.
So yeah,
the last time that we were in this paddock was when?
October.
Yeah, mid-October.
Yeah.
So it's had the most rest of the whole farm.
Yeah, but it's just, we just didn't have, we went for a period, it didn't have a lot of rain. In October, like 45 days, it didn't have rain. And then winter, so there wasn't a lot growing. But we've had some green up in here, some clover and some grass has started back up. But really, this paddock has a lot of Bermuda in it. Actually, last year we grazed it. We were essentially grazing the cover crop, the nursery crop for the perennial plants of millet, brown top millet. So we kind of kept that vegetative longer. But it's, yeah, the Bermuda came up in the summertime, and that's kind of what's been in here is a lot of Bermuda. So we're adding, there's a protein lick and mineral and water in addition. So we're just trying to keep them going because they're nursing, but these lambs are starting to eat too. So we're just trying to get them used to feed. We're going to be giving them their CDT shot, their clostridial shots here soon, to make sure that they're okay with tetanus and clostridia and things. So yeah, it's a between time, late winter, early spring is just tough. When a site's under construction and there's a lot of ground disturbance and things like that. So we do want to keep an eye on the tetanus for that reason too, and clostridia. So you bare ground, you can have impact on it. Some are slicking off pretty nice, like that one. Just from some are shedding.
Look at this beautiful mama. She's we've been working with about 3 years, or I'm sorry, and she had triplets. 2 years and she's got triplets. We got 2 boys and a girl. Good job, mama.